Welcome to the PRT Pod. Today, I'm joined by two key leaders shaping the future of our business, Andrew Kail, our newly appointed Group CFO, and Gareth Mee, who steps into Andrew's former role as CEO of our institutional retirement division. Although I'm sure many of our audience know who you are, we'll start with some brief introductions.
So, Andrew Kail, I'm the Group CFO of L&G, and it's great to be back on the pod again.
Great, thanks for being here. And Gareth?
Also fantastic to be here. And for the first time, I can now say I am CEO of our institutional retirement business.
Great, thanks. And thank you both for being here, and congratulations on your new roles. Before we get into the meat of the questions, the first question I have for you, Andrew, is what excites you about this new role you've stepped into?
Yeah, a lot. I mean, the first thing I should say, and Gareth will cover it, the role I've been doing for the last few years as a CEO of institutional retirement is a fantastic role. So I'll miss that role hugely, but how could I not be excited about growing into the Group CFO role? L&G's got a really exciting strategy. Gareth and I have worked on part of that together. So the ability from the CFO role, sitting on the group board and really helping delivering that, working with all of the teams is hugely exciting. I think we've got a great strategy, a great business, and lots to do in the new role.
Great, thank you. And Gareth, moving from CIO to institutional retirement CEO, what excites you the most about your new role?
So this business that I'm now the CEO of is one that I've long admired. I spent nearly 20 years outside of the organisation, and L&G was the client that lots of my other clients aspired to be like. So to step into the shoes to be the CEO of the number one pension risk transfer business in the market is an absolute dream come true.
Great. And so as 2025 draws to a close, Andrew, what would you say are your highlights from the year?
Well, lots of highlights this year. For all of the economic and political backdrop we're all aware of, this year's had its challenges. So the performance we've delivered this year as a business, I'm super proud of. £11 billion of new business this year across a whole range of transactions, a range of geographies. Hugely proud to have just completed the transaction with Ford, £4.6 billion, largest PRT transaction in the market this year, one of the largest we've ever done. And what made it particularly special is Ford have been a client of L&G for many, many years, working with them on the asset management side, and we've been talking to them about a pensions transaction for many years. So to see that come to fruition, working across the teams for the year was fantastic. A similar story with BP. So announcing that transaction, $1.6 billion, that was a really great transaction to be involved with. We've been working with that client for many years too. So some really great stories. But it's not just the very large clients that grab the headlines. If I look at our flow proposition that we've developed working with smaller pension schemes, it's about us providing a range of PRT solutions right across the market. So really proud of what we've done there. So I think meeting customers for me is always memorable. I love seeing our customers and talking to them about their L&G experience. We've seen 3,500 members just this year. We had a fantastic event just last month in our offices. But you and I did a podcast in Birmingham at the NEC at Gardener's World, and that was fantastic to see customers in such a great setting. Everyone's having a good time and listening about their experience, which was really positive. But they've also got constructive suggestions too. So I think we always have to remember why we're here, and it's to serve our customers. And no better way of experiencing that than talking to them. And I've had some great days doing that. I know Gareth will really take on that into the role too. It's really important.
That sounds great, and it sounds like it's been a really great year for the PRT team in institutional retirement, and some of those deals you highlighted have made such a big impact to pensioners that have moved across as a part of the buy-in. That leads me on to the next question. So in terms of recent developments, obviously there's the Brookfield's acquisition of Just and Athora's acquisition of PIC. What would you say, I guess to both of you really, what would you say were your take on these developments, and how do you think that L&G will continue to be sort of set apart in the coming years?
Gareth, you want to lead off?
Sure. So I think what you just described is a version of a partnership. And one of the things that I might build on what you just described, Andrew, is some of the great partnerships that we have also managed to enter into this year. So the two that you just described are examples of where a USP firm has joined up and taken a stake in one of our UK players, one of our competitors. We've chosen to partner in a different way. So before I became the CIO of this business, then I worked on the transaction to partner up with Meiji Yasuda, which is a hugely exciting partnership for us. And it gives us more firepower in the US pension risk transfer market and also joins us together with another global player. Another example of a partnership is what we announced with Blackstone earlier on this year as well, where we have committed to an asset management partnership, so helping to deliver more firepower with our asset management business, but also to help us to add some more edge in our UK, US and Canadian pension risk transfer markets to be able to access some of the fantastic deals that Blackstone have got access to, which is unique in the market. And so for me, 2025 was a year of partnerships across the whole market, but it was also really, really critical for partnerships for us here in the UK as well.
Great, thanks. And Andrew?
I mean, I so violently agree. I think we have to remember, we're expecting some £500 billion of pension risk transfers in the UK over the next 10 years. Could be a similar number in the US, both markets that we are represented. I think those are huge volumes of transactions. So it's not hard to see why global organizations get excited and interested about accessing and supporting markets like that. And therefore we've seen, as Gareth says, our own transactions with Meiji and with Blackstone, and then the Athora transaction and the Brookfield transaction in the market as well. I think that's a real testament. But also we have to recognise we have great skills in this area. We've been writing PRT business for 40 years. Asset origination is critical, but structuring those assets to have them ready for use on what is a UK solvency regulated balance sheet is a critical skill. And I think what we're very comfortable with is choosing great partners, but really working with them collaboratively to bring great pricing through to transactions and also making sure we can honour those pension promises. So yeah, really excited about the marketplace, but also super confident that our skills, our experience as our partners can help us be successful.
Great, thanks. Gareth, the UK government has been exploring the role pensions can play in driving economic growth. Will productive finance be a focus in your new role?
So it'll definitely be a focus in my new role. One of the things I was most attracted to when I came to join L&G 4 years ago was the role that L&G has played in constructing productive finance. And I use that word really clearly because one can participate passively in productive finance or proactively, and something that L&G has done for many years is been really proactive in this space. So if I take a few examples, then I think the one that lots of us will focus on is what we've done in Cardiff. I remember going and seeing clients there 15, 20 years ago, and to look at the transformation that we have made together with the local council has been absolutely incredible. I think it's something that's really important because we can choose what we invest the money that pensioners entrust to us into. And of course, it needs to be in stable finance. It needs to be assets that we know are going to be there to be able to help us to pay our pensioners. But it can also be in productive finance. And so choosing to invest in places like Cardiff and in Newcastle and other towns and cities around the UK, including your hometown of Sheffield and my hometown of Manchester, is something that I think L&G does super well and has really led the way. There's more to go. And so earlier on this year, we announced that we were going to be investing £2 billion alongside other investors here in the UK, the so-called Sterling 20, as part of the government's drive to invest further into the regions. That's something that, again, we've already led the way on, but there's more to be done. So it's also really important that we continue to innovate. So we've been working with development finance institutions from around the world to help to finance hard to finance assets around the world. So we like to invest in investment grade assets, but we also like to be able to provide finance where it is otherwise very difficult to be able to invest. And so really good examples of those have been investments we've made in emerging markets economies, such as that in Togo earlier on this year, where we worked with the African Development Bank to be able to bring finance to an area that would otherwise have been very difficult to reach. And that's something that we need to continue to do as an industry.
Great, thank you. And Andrew, reflecting back at your time as CEO of Institutional Retirement, could you give us a selection of your most memorable moments?
Sure. I mean, there's lots. Actually, just reflecting on what Gareth just said, walking around the city centres of Sheffield, Newcastle, Cardiff, and just seeing what our pension money has enabled, working with be it the local universities, local councils, etc., it's inspiring. It is really fantastic to see people work, rest, play in real estate that we co-developed through that. So those are really memorable, and some of my sort of most enjoyable days in the job have been, looking about what we've achieved. So that would be one. I like working on deals and helping trustees and their advisors secure their pension benefits. So the big deals stick in mind. British Steel is a fantastic transaction. Not only were we able to help the scheme in a quick space of time to secure £7.5 billion of pensions, we also, as a result, opened a Glasgow office because we took their team that help us administrate that scheme and more widely, and therefore, again, seeing the win-win of that is very memorable. I've also mentioned Ford as other major deals. So the large transactions and when we've been involved in those have been very, very memorable to do, and there's a number of those in each of the years I've been CEO that it's been a pleasure to work on. My most memorable days and my favourite days are when I'm with the team, and that could be the team that Gareth and I are part of, thinking about how we run the business. It could be a wide leadership team where we get a group of us together as leaders and think about the business, or just doing town halls with the entire business. My favourite part of the job, my passion for the job is working with great people to help solve our clients and customers' sort of issues. And I look back on my days of leading the division with sort of greatest satisfaction about, when I've got the team around me and we're doing some great things.
I agree. It's been a really great year. And, having been part of the wider team, I've really enjoyed working on some of those deals this year.
Boots was another example. Yeah. There are a number of transactions where we've been literally able to help tens of thousands of pensioners secure their financial futures and provide the trustee and their advisors with a really great solution. At the same time, helping build our business too. So, yes, some fantastic memories.
Great. Thanks. And Gareth, in your new role as CEO, what is your vision for institutional retirement business, and how do you see the PRT market shaping up for the next year?
So there's both a kind of a plus and a minus to joining a business as CEO that is being run so well. But I think it is overwhelmingly a positive. I mean, Andrew's left the business in fantastic shape. And so I'm really excited and privileged to be stepping into the role with it in the position that it is. This year has been a good year for pension risk transfer. Next year, we think will be an even better year. So we think that the numbers for this year might be around £40 billion in the UK. We think that next year might break 50 billion. So we need to continue to invest in our capability to be able to serve clients and customers, totaling that total. So what do we need to do that? We need to continue to be able to invest, which has been something that I've been focused on over the course of this year. So as scalably as we possibly can, accessing the best opportunities to be able to generate the best pricing for our clients. And that will remain really, really important. You already mentioned the competitive nature of the market. That's going to potentially get even crisper next year. And so that's something for us to focus on. We also are continuing to invest in our client and customer experience. So we've got a multi-million-pound digital transformation that is ongoing, and that will continue to ensure that we retain best-in-class customer service across the board. And that's something that I'm very committed to delivering over the next few years. So ultimately, under my leadership, it's going to be really important for L&G to continue to be a market leader in PRT and to continue to provide world-class service for our members.
Great, thanks. And Andrew, do you have any, words of wisdom to pass on to Gareth?
I'm not sure there's much advice I can give to Gareth. I mean, he's an exceptional leader. His knowledge of our industry, his networks, his leadership of teams, his expertise in all aspects of our business means he's phenomenally well placed to take on the role. So my single piece of advice to him is enjoy it, Gareth. It's a really fantastic role.
Wow. Thank you so much.
Thank you. And thank you both for being here. And thank you for listening in. I'm Roshni Sakaria, and this is the PRT Pod.